Hi, good morning. I am R. Irvin Padia and welcome to Mind of Matters. This is a short motivational clip that will empower you to be the best that you were created to be today. Today is Thursday, or like I like to say, think about it Thursday. As we start today with this great affirmation from the Word of God that says, "This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Greater is He that is in me than he that is in the world. No weapon formed against me today is going to prosper." Today, I would like to speak about seeing is believing. Seeing is believing. Seeing is believing. Life is about perspective. It's not what you go through, but how you see yourself when you go through what you go through. Life is attached to service. Serving something that serves a greater purpose than yourself. I am reminded about the story of two gentlemen that were very wealthy, but in their olden years they became very ill. Internal sickness that caused them to be bedridden. They had to be placed in a facility for someone to take care of them. So there was this one gentleman that was always jovial, always happy. He was always celebrating. So when the nurses were pushing them back into their respective rooms, one guy saw the gentleman and said, "Nurse, can I be placed in the room with this guy? I really like him. He's really fun to be around. I would like to be in the same room with him." So the nurse said, "Okay." So the nurse rolled them into their room. The guy who was jovial and energetic, he was placed at his usual spot by a window, and the other guy was on the other side of the room, no window. So they became good friends. They just continued to laugh. They continued to eat together. When they ate together, they ate by their respective bed. The nurses would roll in their food, their water, their medication, and they would bring out their tray and they would raise them up and they would eat and then they would leave. So the guy who was on the other side asked the guy by the window, he said, "Whenever you feel better, I want you to raise yourself up and tell me what you see on the outside. Tell me, what do you see through that window?" The guy sometimes would muster up some strength and raise himself up and say, "I see beautiful trees. I see beautiful people walking about. I see family, husband and wife, and their children holding hands. Oh, the birds, they are singing and flying majestically in the air. The sky is just blue. It's a great, 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 great place. It's so heavenly outside there." And the guy, although he was feeling very sick, the other guy, although he was feeling very sick, he would say, "Thank you so much. I feel so much better. It's good to see that the world is so beautiful on the outside." The next night, the guy died. The guy by the window, he died. So while the nurse and they came in and they were preparing his body and putting him away and rolling him out, the other guy in the room asked the nurse, he said, "Nurse." The nurse said, "Yes." He said, "I would like you to place me by the window. Please place me by the window. I would like to get a window view." The nurse said, "No problem." So that later in that evening, she placed him by the window and she left him. The next morning, by the window was open and they brought in their breakfast for the guy. The nurse brought the breakfast for the guy by the window. He was so just excited to just look up and peep through the window. When he looked up and peeped through the window, all he saw was a brick wall. So he cried out. He said, "Nurse, nurse, nurse, something is wrong. You placed me in the wrong room. There is something wrong. Please, please." Why it is the window, I'm not seeing the blue skies. I'm not seeing the trees. Where did that wall come from? Take down that wall. So the nurse looked at him and looked at the window, looked at him, looked at the window. and said, there was always a wall over there. The guy said, no, no, no. And he was adamant. He said, no, no, no. There could never have been a wall there because my friend who died always will tell me of the blue skies he saw, of the families walking in the park, of the majestic birds that were flying in the sky. This could never be the same window. The nurse looked at him again in amazement and said, so you didn't know? He said, no, what? The nurse said, that gentleman was blind. The guy pulled back in amazement. He said, so why did he say he saw all these things? The nurse said, he only told you that to make you feel better. He was just doing that even though he was dying, even though he knew that his time was coming to an end. He was trying to make you feel better about yourself. Seeing is believing. When you see it, you believe it. When I can think it, I can live it. Everything is a result of your thinking. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. The enemy is after your thinking because the enemy can corrupt your thinking. And if he can corrupt your thinking, he can corrupt your vision. If you think you are going to get old at 30, you know what will happen? You will start to believe you're going to get old at 30. Your age is not a matter of how you feel. You can age without getting old. We need to now see the possibilities rather than seeing the problems. See, once you believe something and you confess it, and then you expect it, then the whole world gets involved in bringing it to pass. In Matthew chapter 12, reading from verses 35, it says, a good man out of the good treasure of the heart bring forth good things, and an evil man out of the evil treasure of his heart bringeth forth evil things. That verse simply means you are the captain of your ship. Nobody can stop you from reaching your destiny but you. In Mark chapter 9, verses 23, Jesus said unto him, if thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believe. All things are possible to him that see. Seeing is believing. What is possible for you today? I want you to think about that question. What is possible for you today? Ask yourself, what is possible for me today? If you can believe, there are things that God can do for you. But if you cannot believe, there are things that God cannot do for you. As I leave you today, I want to encourage you to be a blessing. Don't be dominated. You were created to dominate. Until we meet again tomorrow, please God, you take care. God bless.